In our previous video, we revealed how Vlad Tepes transformed from mortal prince into one of the most powerful vampiric forces in history. But there's a crucial aspect we haven't fully explored yet: the true nature of the Order of the Dragon that shaped his entire existence. When Vlad Dracul, Tepes' father, received the dragon medallion from Emperor Sigismund's hands in 1408, he wasn't simply joining an honorary society. He was being initiated into one of the most secret and powerful organizations in medieval Europe, an order that fought threats both natural and supernatural. Documents that have emerged from Vatican archives and the Austrian National Library over the past 20 years reveal a reality far more complex and fascinating than we ever imagined. The Order of the Dragon wasn't just a military alliance against the Turks. It was a network of occult knowledge extending throughout Europe, with members strategically positioned in royal courts, monasteries, and fortresses. Today, we'll dive deep into this extraordinary organization that produced some of medieval history's most enigmatic characters. We'll discover how it functioned, what its true objectives were, and why its methods influenced military and political strategies to this day. Question to viewer: are you prepared to discover the secrets of one of medieval Europe's most mysterious societies? Complete historical context, 4 to 5 minutes. To understand the true Order of the Dragon, we must return to the year 1408. Europe was literally divided between three titanic forces: the Holy Roman Empire to the north, the Ottoman Empire to the south, and an unstable strip of Christian kingdoms functioning as a buffer zone between these two powers. Emperor Sigismund faced an existential crisis. His eastern borders were under constant Ottoman pressure, while internally he dealt with Hussite revolts in Bohemia and tensions with Hungarian nobility. Traditional crusades had repeatedly failed, and a new approach was desperately needed. The geopolitical situation was even more complex due to threats that official documents rarely mention directly. Monastic chronicles from the period, discovered at Melk Monastery in 1993, make veiled references to children of darkness and evil spirits plaguing the eastern frontiers. What initially seemed like medieval superstition reveals itself, under careful analysis, as a coded system for reporting vampiric activities. Professor Heinrich Zimmermann, from the University of Vienna, analyzed over 300 documents related to the order and concluded that Sigismund was creating something unprecedented: an organization combining conventional military purposes with esoteric knowledge about combating supernatural threats. The choice of the dragon symbol wasn't accidental. In European tradition, the dragon represented both wisdom and destructive power, the ability to protect precious treasures using methods others would consider extreme or morally questionable. The dragon swallowing its own tail symbolized the eternal cycle of renewal through destruction, a concept that would become central to the Order's philosophy. The Dracul family fit perfectly into this vision. Mircea the Great, Vlad Tepes' grandfather, had already demonstrated exceptional ability to survive in an impossible political environment, keeping Wallachia independent for 32 years against all odds. Documents discovered in the Romanian National Archive in 2003 reveal that Mircea maintained regular correspondence with itinerant sages, a probable reference to order members who shared information about supernatural threats. The system functioned through a network of 24 principal members, each responsible for a specific region of the Christian frontier. They shared not only military intelligence but knowledge about combating vampires, werewolves, and other entities that period chroniclers recorded as incarnate demons. Central Analysis Part 1. Structure and Operation, 4 to 5 minutes. The structure of the Order of the Dragon revealed by recently discovered documents is fascinating in its sophistication. It wasn't simply a military alliance, but a multi-layered organization with both explicit and hidden objectives. At the most basic level, the order functioned as a defensive league against Ottoman expansion. The 24 members swore to defend Christendom and support each other in case of attack. But detailed analyses of the original statutes, preserved in the Vienna Imperial Archive, reveal much more specific and intriguing clauses. Article 7 of the original statutes, discovered only in 1997, established the duty to purify Christian lands of all abominations that oppose divine light. Professor Michael Hurst from Oxford University, specialist in medieval documents, identified this as a coded reference to vampiric combat. Each order member received 3 distinct mantles: green for the dragon's scales, representing protection, red for martyr's blood, symbolizing sacrifice, and black for the mystery of Christ's passion, indicating hidden knowledge. But recent discoveries at Sankt Georgen Monastery reveal there was a 4th mantle, golden, reserved only for those initiated into the deepest mysteries. The Order's communication system was extraordinarily advanced for its time. They utilized a network of specialized messengers, many of them itinerant monks, who transported coded information throughout Eastern Europe. The code, partially deciphered by Dr. Zimmermann's team, combined biblical references with alchemical and astrological symbols. Even more impressive was the training system. Order members not only learned conventional military tactics, but also studied what documents call defensive arts against enemies of light. Inventories discovered at Hunadwara Castle list unique equipment, specific wooden stakes, ointments with garlic and holy water, and special polished silver mirrors. The Order's financing came from multiple sophisticated sources. Besides member contributions, they maintained a commercial network extending from Venice to Constantinople. 15th century accounting records, discovered in Milan's Ambrosian Library, show the Order controlled at least 47 commercial establishments strategically positioned along east-west trade routes. The most intriguing aspect was the recruitment system. New members weren't simply appointed by political criteria, but underwent a selection process including tests of courage, loyalty, and, most significantly, resistance to malevolent influences. Descriptions of these tests, found in a 1423 letter from the Archbishop of Esztergom, suggest procedures designed to identify individuals capable of resisting vampiric control. Central Analysis Part 2, Methods and Innovations, 4 to 5 minutes. The Order of the Dragon's methods represented a revolution in medieval approaches to both conventional and supernatural combat. Documents discovered in the Vatican Secret Archive in 2008 reveal techniques and strategies that were centuries ahead of their time. The most significant innovation was the concept of adaptive total warfare. While most medieval armies followed rigid tactics based on heavy cavalry and infantry formations, the Order developed a flexible system combining conventional, psychological, and, for lack of better term, supernatural warfare. Vlad Dracul, Tepes' father, perfected these techniques during his Wallachian campaigns. His interrogation and execution methods weren't merely cruel. They were specifically developed to combat adversaries who didn't die easily. Impalement, the technique that would become his son's trademark, had a documented practical function. It was one of the few ways to permanently immobilize a vampire without access to specialized equipment. Detailed records of Dracul's campaigns, preserved at Kosia Monastery, describe specific procedures for identifying and neutralizing soldiers who don't stay dead. These included using blessed oak stakes, decapitation, followed by physical separation of the head and immediate cremation of remains. Dr. Alexandru Maggiaru from the University of Bucharest, the leading specialist in Wallachian military history, analyzed over 200 battle reports from the period and identified a consistent pattern. Order forces achieved exceptionally high success rates against enemies. Other armies considered impossible to defeat permanently. The Order's intelligence was equally revolutionary. They developed an espionage network that infiltrated not only enemy courts, but communities where nocturnal strangers were reported. Specialized agents, many of them former hunters or campaign veterans, collected information about vampiric activity patterns, identified local leaders, and mapped supernatural hierarchies. A particularly innovative aspect was using involuntary double agents. The order deliberately allowed some members to be captured by vampires, but only after receiving special training in mental resistance and escape techniques. These agents provided vital intelligence about vampiric fortresses and enemy leader weaknesses. The order's logistical system was also exceptionally advanced. They maintained secret equipment deposits in monasteries and fortresses throughout Eastern Europe. Inventories discovered at Corvin Castle list 500 treated oak stakes, 200 polished silver mirrors, 3,000 crossbow bolts with silver tips, and waters blessed by 7 different archbishops. Perhaps most impressive was the order's communication system with similar organizations. Evidence suggests connections with surviving Knights Templar, monastic orders specializing in demonic combat, and even Islamic groups facing similar vampiric threats. A 1431 letter, discovered in French National Archives, mentions brothers in faith who share our battle against blood drinkers, suggesting extraordinary interreligious cooperation for the era. Vlad Tepes' formation within this system explains many aspects of his later career. He wasn't just a cruel prince, but a specialized product of centuries of accumulated knowledge about supernatural combat. His tactics, even the most extreme ones, followed principles developed and refined by the order across generations. Comparisons and legacy, 2 to 3 minutes. The Order of the Dragon's impact on European military and political history went far beyond its campaigns against the Ottomans. Its tactical and organizational innovations influenced developments that persist today. Comparing Vlad Tepes with other military leaders of his era, the difference is striking. While commanders like John Hunyadi depended on conventional tactics and superior resources, Tepes demonstrated strategic flexibility that surprised both allies and enemies. Colonel James Mitchell from the London Institute for Strategic Studies analyzed Tepes' campaigns and concluded his guerrilla tactics and psychological warfare anticipated modern military developments by at least 400 years. The order's intelligence techniques directly influenced the development of Europe's first secret services. The system of specialized agents, coded communication, and enemy organization infiltration established precedents adopted by Venetian diplomacy, French espionage, and eventually modern intelligence services. Even more fascinating is the order's influence on contemporary organizations. Professor David Morgan from Yale University identified direct parallels between Order of the Dragon methods and modern special forces techniques: rigorous personnel selection, multidisciplinary training, highly specialized small unit operations, and adaptability to unconventional threats. The Order's approach to supernatural combat also influenced traditions persisting in certain Eastern European regions. Protection rituals, vampire identification techniques, and neutralization methods documented by the Order appear in local folklore to this day, suggesting practical knowledge was preserved through oral traditions for over 500 years. Modern military organizations study Order documents not from interest in vampires, but for innovations in unconventional warfare, psychological resistance, and hostile environment operations. The U.S. Army Special Operations Manual includes a case study on Vlad Tepes' campaigns, focusing on his urban guerrilla tactics and psychological warfare. The Order's most lasting legacy is perhaps its demonstration that extraordinary threats require extraordinary methods. In a world facing complex global challenges, terrorism, cyber warfare, biological threats, the principles developed by the Order of the Dragon, adaptability, inter-organizational cooperation, specialized intelligence, and preparation for the unexpected, remain surprisingly relevant. Conclusion, 1 to 2 minutes. The Order of the Dragon represents much more than a medieval military alliance. It was a visionary organization that developed innovative methods to face threats challenging conventional solutions. Its members, especially Vlad Tepes, applied knowledge accumulated across generations to develop strategies that would influence military thinking for centuries. Documents revealed in recent decades paint a picture of a medieval Europe far more complex and sophisticated than we imagined. The order demonstrated that even in an age of superstition and ignorance, determined men could develop rational and effective methods to face apparently impossible threats. Understanding the true nature of the Order of the Dragon helps us comprehend not only Vlad Tepes, but the entire historical context that produced some of European history's most fascinating characters. Their techniques, adapted for modern threats, remain relevant for those studying strategy, leadership, and survival in hostile environments. Question to viewer: what other secrets of medieval organizations would you like us to investigate? History is full of mysteries waiting to be revealed. If you want to discover more secrets that official history has hidden, subscribe and activate notifications. We have documents that will completely change your view of the past.